Hello everyone, welcome to your weekly on-chain review. This is your host Sky and today is 9th of December 2021. Today's review is called Creating Balance because the market is trying to create a balance between the derivative market and the spot market. We have seen a huge flush out of leverage, open interest and even funding in the recent dump of 4th of December. Let's go ahead and see some important metrics and how they have shaped after this dump. First we have for you is the SOPR. This is the adjusted SOPR. In blue we have the short-term holders SOPR and in purple it is the long-term holders SOPR. So short-term holders, we can see that short-term holders are realizing increasing losses. Now since the SOPR has come below 1, now we see that in May also when it fell below 1, the short-term holders started to realize increasing losses, and eventually we saw a higher low forming in May, and now again we are in the same territory, and this ratio has reset completely, and now we want to see higher lows forming and it to reclaim above 1. The market in general still looks very firm and committed when we compare this metric in confluence with other metrics which we will see in this video. Now as we have learnt in previous reports that short-term holders SOPR is a good oscillator to identify by the dip or fade the rally opportunities, given that the broader trend has been established using other metrics. After the recent shakeout, SOPR has been below 1, which means that the short-term holders are realizing losses. We also see that realized losses peaked, and it means that most of the top buyers and short-term holders were flushed out. And now there might not be much selling pressure which remains after this capitulation wick. So this is the short-term holders SOPR. Now we know that short-term holders are those where the UTXOs of which the lifetime is more than 1 hour and less than 155 days. So now we see here that it has been completely reset, meaning that if we are correct about the larger uptrend, a high time frame uptrend, this place will be a place to find opportunities to buy, and we can also expect a bottom formation to play out soon. This is the long-term holders SOPR, and these are the UTXOs which have been alive for more than 155 days. Long-term holders SOPR metric is in a macro decline, indicating that since March, the profitability of the long-term holder spent coins has been falling, and now the market price has come even more closer to the cost basis, to their cost basis. This is the adjusted SOPR. See how it bounced from 0.95 This is all the UTXOs of which a lifetime is more than 1 hour. So this combines the long term and short term holders both. Now in our 25th November report, we were looking at this chart. We were looking at this metric of realized profits, realized price. Now the realized price that time sat at 53k, and we said that if 53k is lost, it would signal a potential need for caution, as it would indicate a top heavy market creating more sell side. We also mentioned that if 58k is not reclaimed soon, it would provide a downside risk and would be a sign of a top heavy market. So now we saw on 4th December that this line was lost. This support was lost. It was a very important support, and as it was lost, we saw a huge dump. It means that all the short-term holders have realized losses after this move. We also saw the death cross, which happened here when we were at 59k. Now we see that we went up and got rejected again by MA20, moving average 20, and got a reaction. This is the MVRV. MVRV is the market value to realized value, and this ratio is defined as an asset's market capitalization divided by realized capitalization. The lower MVRV goes, the more attractive BTC becomes. In the last video, MVRV was here, and we was looking for it to reset and come closer to this level. Now this level is the level around 40k in price. Below this level, in this green box, this is a level where the bottom structure for 29k, around 29k and 30k was formed. So this is an area to be a bull and to dollar cost average. This chart is reserves. Reserves are falling now as opposed to May. After the May deleveraging, we saw 140,000 BTC on net flow into exchanges. This took months for holders to reaccumulate and clean up. On this instance, however, we have actually just broken back to multi-year lows on exchange reserves, and outflows are accelerating and not showing any inflows as it was seen in May. So this is a very healthy sign for the mid-term and long-term health of the market. This is another metric to look at the reserves. BTC's exchange net transfer volume. This is hinting at an underlying confidence and largely confirming weakness was more heavily influenced by derivative markets rather than spot selling. In May, we saw a notable and sustained uptick of BTC inflows with periods of 10 to 14,000 net BTC deposit. Recent peak exchange inflows are a fraction of that size, and it is about 2,000 to 3,200 BTC. Bitcoin holders aren't behaving as they have in prior moments of weakness. Here we saw that there were sustained inflows in May, and this white line, which is the EMA of the inflows, EMA 9 of inflows, it stayed in this red zone. In the present dump, we haven't seen that. So last time we saw these hodl waves. Here we are trying to see who is the cause of the supply. We know that when young hodl waves buy or accumulate, then the BTC price falls as older hodl waves fix their profits at the young's expense and vice versa. We also noted that short-term holders are swing trading, and those who bought at 29k and 40k or after 2xing their positions started selling up here. If we see this chart in its current position, we see that the long-term holder supply is essentially horizontal from where it was in late November. Now they have distributed 1.5% of their total supply since late October, that is from the all-time high. Since the early distribution phase that we spoke about in 25th November video. Long-term holders have distributed about 5% of supply which they accumulated from March to October. Now we see that the supply by short-term holders, which is increasing, is being absorbed by long-term holders. So the long-term holders are holding and not showing signs of heavy distribution as it was seen in May. It gives us a conclusion that most of the downside move is from futures or derivative market and not spot. Here this is another chart to look at it. So here we see this is the total supply held by long-term holders. It has been flat. This distribution didn't go as high as we saw in May. This is the total supply held by short-term holders. This is the sign which we saw in May or in November of early distribution, but it is not as heavy as we had seen in May. So only 1.5% of their total supply has been distributed. This is the illiquid supply, the amount of supply held by hodlers or the entities who have very low outflows. These are the participants with long-term time horizons. It includes smart money. These entities have just been increasing their supply in face of liquidations and capitulation events. Smart money has not moved in this dump. We also see that whale reserves have consistently been increasing and they have been absorbing the supply from short-term holders in the event of dumps. So we see that the smart money whales and the long-term holders have been absorbing the supply. They were the cause of the supply between 60k to 68 69k, but since we broke down from there, we saw that the supply by smart money and the long-term holders and whales have decreased, though in some exchanges the whales have caused this dump and they pushed the price down enough to break that important support of 53k, and which eventually caused cascading liquidations. Because of the stops which were placed below that important support, they got hit in a very short span of time, and there was this cascading liquidation event. However, we have seen that spot market is as healthy as ever, and this is only the volume here only shows the supply dynamics shows that the coins Bitcoin is changing hands and it is flowing into the hands of smart money. There are some other metrics also which which can establish our case. This is the dormancy flow. Dormancy means the average age of transactions in days on chain per unit of BTC spent. It compares market cap to the USD value of annualized dormancy. Dormancy is coin day destroyed divided by volume, which just gives you the adjusted amount of coin destruction. Currently, it is far from any exuberant signature, no matter how you look at it. This is demonstrating high conviction despite extreme volatility and losses. The value of coin destruction or the age of coins moving on chain is still very low. The average coins moving or age of coins transacting on chain, both weighed by volume of or by transactions, show that both of them are declining. Rising dormancy means older coins are being spent at higher volume. Declining dormancy indicates a reduction in older coin spending volume. Here we again see that the average baseline level for 2020 was a dormancy level of 40 days. And we are well below it, and we are sitting at an average of 25 days. In fact, dormancy has been in a macro decline since the heights of the bull run in January. The implication is that hodlers are exhibiting steady maturation behavior, and activity on-chain is dominated by younger coins. Here, this chart we saw in our 25th November report, and we said that a 15 to 20% dump of 15 to 20% of supply underwater has historically been sufficient to create reflexive downside if price cannot reclaim higher levels in a reasonable time frame. So higher level here was the monthly time frame which it failed to reclaim, and that was the in a reasonable amount of time, and hence we were aware that 53k is not that great a support also, and to be careful with your stops. We also saw this chart in our 2nd December report, and we compared the PNL supply profit percent against PNL supply loss percent, which indicated to us that we had more room for correction before hitting the bottom. So this was the 2nd December chart, and we had this level 42,000. If 53,000 broke, we had some room to run for both profit percent and the loss percent. This is the loss percent, so we said that it can reach this area, and this is the profit percent. We said that it can reach this area. So now if you look at the present chart, so before looking at the present chart, we because of this, when 53k was lost, and because of the loss because of this chart, we were able to identify the dump. We mentioned in our Discord that if walls on BTC to watch if 53k is lost. This was the wall around 42k. Please watch the on-chain report for levels. Below is one level for your quick reference, the great wall at 40k. So we were eyeing 40k's 5 hours before the dump, and now this is the same chart, this chart. Now I've just changed the colors. So now we see that PNL supply profit percent against PNL supply loss percent that we have reached closer to the bottom structures for both of them. This is the area where we make the bottom structure. Last time we made 29k to 30k bottom structure here. These are the realized losses. This spiked to 800 million per day, similar to significant sell-offs in April and July, but they are much lower than the May levels. This suggests a reasonable flush out of spot top buyers has occurred, but it does not rule out a little bit of more downside while creating this bottom. I am expecting it to sweep the lows, the recent lows which have been made, and structure out here a bit and make this entry difficult. So we will be aware that there could be spikes down at the local bottom, and which can make this entry difficult. Here we have is the net unrealized profit and loss from our previous report. We were expecting it to also come down to this support. Now we see that it has come down and it touched 0.48. Now net unrealized profit and loss is the difference between market value and realized value. If this indicator is more than 0, it means expected value is less than what they actually have. Next we have is the funding and open interest. Now we have understood in our previous reports that funding means periodic payments either to traders that are long or to those who are short, based on the difference in price between perpetual contract markets and spot. We have also learned that when the funding rates are positive, long traders are paying a premium to shorts for the privilege of keeping their positions open. In periods of sustained bullish price, this can be the cost of doing business. Likewise, when the funding rates are negative, shorts are paying longs, as a majority bear bias dominates futures. So here we see in the 4th December dump, 5.4 billion in open interest was flushed. The perpetual funding rate plummeted to minus 0.035%, demonstrating a complete reset of the funding bias. Now we see that it flipped negative after many weeks. Now what we want to see is that we want to see this negative funding for a while. That will show some bearish sentiment on futures markets and strengthen the case for the bottom formation, which we have been looking at in our previous charts also. Average funding rate danger zone is above 0.08. Currently it is below 1, and a maximum it fell down till minus 0.04. So we were expecting a Darth Maul in our previous report. This is just to mention that, and this is what we saw. So this is the open interest. We see that the total number of this is the total number of outstanding contracts on all exchanges. After the first dump, total open interest came off the highs down to approximately 10 billion following the expiry of the 26th November contracts. And now after the second dump, there is a total rinse of 58,000 BTC in value. In BTC denomination, this liquidation was the second largest single day change in futures open interest in 2021 after the sell off in on May 19th that totaled around 79,000 BTC. So 58,000 BTC, 79,000 BTC. If we see both of them together, so open interest and funding both have reset a bit. Now if we see the leverage, we saw this chart in our previous report and we saw that leverage was very high and it was very dangerous. Now we see a complete reset. It is the same chart. Now we see a complete reset, 22% drop in the leverage market. This is a good sign. These are the liquidations, and the liquidations, this amounted to 58,000 BTC in value. This is the BTC exchange whale ratio. So what we were seeing was, this is only reflecting BitMEX, and we have seen that I have been observing BitMEX and there appears to be a big whale there which is causing huge dumps. So we saw this dump, now here also we saw this dump, and still it is very high. So, but we are also seeing that the supply is being absorbed and they are buying the dips. Whales are dumping the peaks and they are buying when the dump has happened, and we see that coins are exchanging hands from short-term holders to the whales and smart money, as we had seen in our previous charts. But still it is a sign to not take leveraged positions and find some spot entries at close to the local bottom. This is again the inflows to the exchanges. Now we saw here, this gave us a warning when it went above 2.03 that a dump is coming in future. Now it has come down from this danger level to its average level. So this was an important tell which we were looking at in our previous reports. This is the golden ratio multiplier. Now this is useful in finding important levels of support. Now we see that the Bitcoin price is very close to the 350 day moving average, and we also see, we zoom in, we also see that this 350 day moving average acted as support when the price was at 29k. We are very close to it and it is resting around 45 to 46k. So this is one indicator which also indicates that we are at a good support zone, and this will be a good place to have a bottom formation. This next we have is the fear and greed index. We know that extreme fear can be a sign that investors are too worried. That could be a buying opportunity. And when investors are getting too greedy, that means the market is due for a correction. So we have seen a correction. Sentiment has reverted to the same negative consensus that BTC had at 2930k. So now this metric stood in the fear levels right up until Friday's crash, when it dipped further into extreme fear. Although the metric was able to bounce from the lows here, but still it is closer to extreme fear zones, and it is still close to its yearly lows and closer to the post May 2021 levels. where we had a bottom formation. So this will be an area of interest for us as bulls to enter. So if we see all these metrics in combination to each other, what I am looking at is the sweep of the recent lows of bottom formation. Some chart pattern formation will be expected, and I'll be looking out for that. So now this is the report, guys, and we have seen that the market has created balance between the derivative market and the spot market, and I hope that these reports are being helpful for you, and thank you for your time.